You may think you know AARP, but if you're not familiar with the AARP Challenge Grant and the fact that we have given out almost $500,000 to communities across the state, then you want to stay tuned and listen to AARP Real Possibilities. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're always excited to find out where our challenge grant money goes. And so today we're talking a little bit about community greenhouses and behavioral health. I mean, it's just a wide gamut of things that AARP gets connected to with the community, and it shows our commitment to the community. But first, I just want to thank you, both of you, for your work and for what you've done in your communities and how you're making a difference. So thanks for being here with us on AARP Real Possibilities. Jen, let's start with you. Let's talk a little bit about dwelling places and some of the work that you're doing and the entity that actually is doing the work for you.
Great. So I'm from Dwelling Place. Have been with the organization for about 20 years. We serve West Michigan, and we do affordable housing. So we have a 3-point mission: affordable housing, essential support services, and serving as a catalyst for neighborhood revitalization. We have several senior housing communities, which is how we got connected to AARP. And we're really excited about the project that y'all help to support and bring to fruition at one of our beautiful
housing is like the whole country is talking about affordable housing.
It is such a need right now. We have, we're seeing just the systemic impact of the last, decade really, of not enough building and an increasing need. And so there's a need for senior housing. There's a need for family housing. There's a need for housing of all different income levels, and we're happy to be part of the solution.
Well, great. We're happy to have you as part of the solution. We'll come back to that. Also, Sue, behavioral health. I mean, in some ways it kind of goes with housing, but that's another story. But tell us a little bit about the work that you all do and the entity that you're connected with.
Thank you. Yes, I'm with the Chaldean Community Foundation, and I've been with them a little bit over 12 years.
Nice.
I'm in the behavioral health department. I'm a program manager for a special needs program called Breaking Barriers. And overall at the foundation, we help newly arrived refugees and immigrants, just newcomers to the United States. We did start with, when we first started, it was behavioral health for a lot of the refugees that came from Iraq. So we work with a lot of Middle Eastern communities, and we're not just specific to Middle Eastern. We serve over 50 different countries that come through our doors. Yes. Wow. So we have we work with basically anything comes through the doors. If it's just deciphering their mail or trying to help them navigate through Medicaid or through trying to get, a bridge card or maybe even help them with transportation, things like that. In my program, we mostly work with many seniors and special needs families.
Wow, so when you talk about 50 different countries, there's some language barriers there from time to time, right?
Yes, definitely. So yes,
just navigating, it's hard enough for those of us who are English speaking to navigate through the systems and the online, but for someone who doesn't speak the language and coming to this country, that's got to be challenging.
Yes, it's very challenging.
And so talk about the project. Like I mentioned earlier, AARP has funded almost $500,000 in terms of community challenge grants throughout the last decade or so. And so people apply. This is a very competitive process. You had to apply for a grant that helps to improve a particular project that you wanted to work on, whether it's a Chaldean community or whether it's dwelling place. And then there's a team of volunteers. It's not me, I don't even see it, me or someone else here on our team who helps the volunteers make a judgment. And so you two, plus the others that I mentioned earlier, were part of the successful grantees from that process. And I am, as a 10-year veteran now of AARP, so proud that we really go into the communities. People think of us as insurance and discounts, but we're all about, in the States, we're all about the communities and the work that you do in the communities and advocating for the communities. So talk about this particular project that AARP helped to fund.
So we developed a special project called the CHAI Project. And CHAI in Middle Eastern stands for T, but it stands for Caregiver Helping Aid Initiative. So we run it twice a month, and the sessions run basically on a Friday for 2 hours. We have the caregivers come in, and we have different programming that we offer, field trips, things like that, just to have them acculturate, not just to United States, but to acculturate to everyday life skills. The idea of helping them be a better caregiver, to care for themselves as they're caring for their loved one. And we noticed, we did a lot of home visits before we actually started the project. And we were basically doing the home visits for a special needs person. And then we realized that we needed a project for our caregivers, because our caregivers really needed some help taking care of not just themselves, but they're also, their loved one. And then many times they had, language barrier and transportation, mostly they were widows that had an adult special needs that have never been in school or programming. And so it was something for them to be able to really acculturate to America, to acculturate being now an older, not mom, but now as a caregiver is very different, to hold a different role in that. So as we were running it, the money helped us fund some aspects of that for the entire year.
That's phenomenal, because everyone, it's been said everyone is going to need a caregiver. They will be a caregiver at some point in time in their life. And then older adults in particular, who are sometimes that sandwich generation, taking care of their young a grandchild and a daughter, or a grandmother and a child. It's a challenge. How do people find out about you?
So we do have many, we outreach, and we have many clients that we assist with guardianships and things like that as they come through through the door. And we offer the class, we talk about it, we speak about it. For many, they don't even want to participate because they don't even have a way to get there, or they feel like it's going to take too long to get their loved one dressed, or they feel as if they can't come because they have to be with their loved one the whole 24 hours a day. And so we offer transportation and, bring them over, and they, try out the class and realize, oh, wow, this is great. So word of mouth and just reaching out to existing clients.
And of course, this TV show will get you a lot more.
Oh, yeah, that's wonderful. We really love that.
Once we put this out there.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, so again, appreciate the work that you do. And Jen, dwelling places, affordable housing, and all the other work that you do. Tell us about the project that AARP funded for you.
So it was such an exciting project. We had already started working with a group of design students from Kendall College of Art and Design. They are master's students who were doing a speculative design project with us, and we had given them the challenge of designing a greenhouse that could be built solely by volunteers. We were looking at a couple of different sites where it could be constructed, and had identified Reflections, which is a senior housing community. The students came in, they met with our seniors, they talked about what accessible design would look like, and they went through several design phases. They came in and brought those ideas back to the seniors that lived at Reflections, talked about what would work and what wouldn't work, and then they went back to the drawing board and they came up with this final design. So AARP's funding helped to allow us to actually build that greenhouse on site. And the thing that's really beautiful about it is it was designed by the volunteer students. It was built by volunteers. And many of the seniors who live at the property were a part of the design process. Sweet. And now they're using it for a senior seed saving program. And it allows our seniors to do gardening throughout the majority of the year versus having a dormant period, because we have a gorgeous community garden at that senior property. And we have so many seniors who grew up in farming communities, have a love and a passion for gardening, or have developed a love and passion for gardening. And it helps them to be able to extend that growing season, that connection space for them to come together. And it's just a gorgeous project.
And it's right in the senior community.
Yes. So it's at the site. So if you imagine, this is on the south side of Grand Rapids. It's the senior housing community is called Reflections, and we have this gorgeous metal sculpture out front. So it really stands out as remarkable. If you go through the building out into the back, it was our first community garden. Now we have 15 community gardens across all of our
I love
housing.
it.
And so it was the first one, and it was very successful because the seniors there were so passionate about gardening. It showed us what gardening could do. And so we have a fairly large site, and we were able to build the greenhouse right there. And so the seniors now, when they go out to the garden, can be in and out of the greenhouse right alongside their community room, and they look out onto the community garden. So it's beautiful.
I love that. Do they just go out when they want to harvest whatever they might want to use it? What do you grow inside the garden?
Oh, everything. So that was one
I
of the
might want to
things-
drive by.
It's absolutely awesome. So our seniors, people are growing anything that they can think of. And we
nice.
have a full-time community gardener that works at our garden sites. And so one of the things that's really spectacular is that people will come up with ideas of very specific, different types of plants that they want to grow. An eggplant that's a little different, maybe collard greens that are a specific strain. And so we can order those strains and then start them in the greenhouse. And we had so much bounty from the greenhouse growing season that we're able to share it with other properties. And so our seniors are actually growing enough plants in that greenhouse now to share with other communities nearby. And so it's really phenomenal. But there's everything from flowers, produce, tomatoes are stunning there. Really a huge mix. And everyone has their own assigned plot. And then we have a couple of community-based plots. So people who maybe don't want to get their hands quite as dirty can still enjoy the benefits.
I love that. Both of you, either one of you can answer this question, but did you even know that ARP got involved with things like this before this challenge grant? Did you know that we were involved with like behavioral health or gardening? I mean, I think most people don't realize the depth and breadth of the kind of work that is done in the communities through volunteers, through nonprofit agencies like yourself. But just curious, were you aware of that? That we were working in the community this way?
So we had actually looked at a couple of ARP resources previously. There is a street accessibility assessment, and then also the multi-generational gardening planning document. And so we had looked at a few of those, and that's what led us to
Good for
learn
you.
more about your programming.
Good for you.
And with so many, we do have 3 or 4 different senior communities, and many seniors are living in affordable housing these days. So that was kind of what brought us more awareness of what y'all are doing.
I love that phrase. Many seniors are living in affordable housing these days.
Yeah.
Let's continue that journey, right? Because there are
Yeah.
a lot of them still looking in other communities looking for affordable housing. What about you, Sue? Were you aware?
No, actually, not really. We, we've used your resource in different
Right.
capacities, and at the foundation, we do also have a grant writer. And when she approached me about it and said, "What do you think?" and I'm like, "Oh, let's sit together. Let's talk about this CHI project and expand it." And it was so wonderful to be granted, the money to be able to do it and expand on it. And we actually, we thought we were offering, the entire year that we offered these programs and these field trips and classes, but we actually learned more from them than
Yeah.
they probably learned from us. But no, I didn't, and it was very exciting.
Yeah, that's why
to have
it's
that.
just important for people to seek out, like your grant writer did, to find out what opportunities exist. And there'll be another challenge grant opportunity for communities across the state of Michigan to apply. So check our website out for additional information there as well. What challenges did you face? I mean, it sounds fantastic. I'm so excited about the work you're doing. I just would love to go to see every single one of these projects that we've talked about. But what challenges did you face as you were going through this?
I would say that, one of the challenges we're always running into is just trying to bring more awareness to the communities that we serve. And this was a great opportunity to do that. We had and continue to have robust volunteering opportunities. And so it was exciting to provide such a concrete volunteer opportunity. But when you're managing a large scale project like that and only working with volunteers as your primary base, just making sure that we continued to move the project forward in a timely fashion, because we had to get it done before the snow fell, right? So we really were just really cognizant of that time frame and continuing to move forward. And so I think having built the project, it was this great opportunity to bring the community in again to see a senior housing community. There's just not enough opportunities for people to really understand how their neighbors live, how beautiful affordable housing can be, and the impact it has on people's lives. And so that was kind of a great outcome. But the challenge to get people to really understand the impact that a project can have like that, and then getting it done on time are
Those are the
definitely like the
challenges.
two parts of that, right? Like what's the benefit,
Right.
like making sure that everyone's aware, and then hitting those deadlines.
Well, I like that because they need to choose how they want to age and age with dignity and respect and independence. I mean, we all know older adults who want to remain as independent as long as they possibly can, so this gives them that opportunity. Sue, what about you? Challenges that you face?
Oh, yes, we faced a lot of challenges. First, we faced the challenge of language. So we had to conduct the classes in 3 different languages. Of course, trying to find someone that's very, good in all 3 languages, depending on the audience. And then recruiting, we found that challenging only because when a person is a caretaker, we found that the caretaker was a lot older even than the person they're taking care of. And then, so we provided transportation, to try to, get over that. And then the idea of the theme of the workshop that we're doing. So if they found themselves a little bored or it didn't apply to them, that they didn't, did not want to attend. But then we started to kind of just get the feel and cater to that community, especially a Middle Eastern community. And, and so then once we, got into the flow and we realized, they're like, well, we don't know how to read. Why are you taking us to the library? And then we were like, okay, well, you can check out videos from the library. Just things like that, that were challenging. So,
How did you come up with the name CHAI?
In the Middle East, chai
tea.
means, especially in Chaldean, it means tea. And so women get together, drink tea, have a tea party, and they come together and it just flowed.
Nice. I like
So CHAI stands for Caregiver Helping Aid Initiative.
that.
And we truly are helping the caregiver. If it's a spouse or a mother or a child or whoever the caregiver is, it applies to all of them.
How many people do you think you've served?
We're trying to, we were trying to kind of figure that out of how many, but with we go through 600 or 700 throughout the year. Some of them, come through, and some of them don't. But maybe 60 to 80 unduplicated.
Wow.
People that do attend different workshops.
that's
Some of them are very loyal, and they wait for every, every workshop, that we do.
Right.
So, we always try to find why a person hasn't come back. Sometimes it's because they've got a little sicker or, they're just not able to, continue. But mostly we find that, they are returning, and we're very excited to, help them build awareness and trust and help their own health.
Relationships, absolutely. Any idea? How many?
So we're home to about a little bit over 2,000 people. However, in that senior community, we have 20-some very vibrant senior gardeners who are sharing the bounty with their neighbors. So,
I love it.
While Dwelling Places reach is a little bit bigger, that senior community has very dedicated community gardeners. So.
That's awesome. We've got 1 minute left. Give a pitch to people who might be working on a community project, on a park or alleyway or food insecurity or something. Give a pitch to them. Why should they get involved? What should they do in terms of trying to get some additional help or the Community Challenge Grant? What would you say to them?
Great. I think for us, it was a great opportunity to really look at accessibility and opening up the opportunity to realize a potential project. And I've really appreciated looking at the map of other projects that are previous winners and getting a sense of what people had been working on across the country.
Great. Thank you. Sue?
I think it was just getting people out of their homes. I think a lot of them were very isolated, and to get them out of the home and get them involved and to meet other people that they probably wouldn't make friendships or socialize with that they regularly do. And the funds were very important to us to be able to expand on that,
I appreciate that. Social isolation is a real thing for older adults, for a lot of people. Thank you so much, both of you. Couldn't be prouder of the work that you've done. You're all making a difference, a real impact in your community and improving the quality of life for so many folks. And we couldn't be happier to be a part of that. So thank you so much. Appreciate you being here.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, we're here to discuss the non-pharmacological approaches to pain management today. When it comes to managing pain, the first and foremost best thing you can do is having a good night's rest, adequate exercise. That's generally about 150 minutes per week. Generally, you want to aim for at least walking 30 minutes 5 times a week. Also, a well-balanced diet. When it comes for diets in general, a Mediterranean diet is excellent. There's high amounts of vegetables, fruit, nuts for protein, and trying to stay away from sugar-free and processed foods. Also, never underestimate the importance of smoking cessation and drinking alcohol in minimal to moderate amounts. Also, when it comes to pain overall, there's a certain few things that we should all consider. First and foremost, you have the biopsychosocial. That is a fancy way to say that we perceive pain biologically, is how we perceive it from the outside environment. Psychologically, which is how we mentally process that pain, but also socially. How did we learn to perceive pain from our family and our friends and what was acceptable? When it comes to pain management overall, there's a lot of things that we can do. Certainly having that rest helps, but there's also, you can use braces for certain joint pain. You can elevate the extremity if it's hurting. There's also hot and cold compression. Generally, you want to put a hot or cold pack on the skin with a protective barrier for 15-minute intervals. And then you can also use a lot of different topical medications. There are some that are ibuprofen based, there are some lidocaine based, even menthol based, and those really help trying to target pain in different areas. And there's also NSAIDs like Tylenol, ibuprofen. In general, you want to target pain for more than 1 or 2 different ways because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.
I want to talk today about why long-term care is so expensive. And back in the day, our grandparents kind of made it through sitting in a rocking chair on the porch. Why is it so much more expensive?
Yeah, Paula, let me put you in a rocking chair on a porch.
That's not going to work,
and we'll
David.
see how
I
well
said my
you like
grandparents. Right?
That's right, right.
Not even my parents.
Well, I blame ARP.
Oh, you do?
I do. I blame ARP because you kind of raised our expectations about what this part of life is going to be like.
It's great.
Now, well, it's a good thing. Yeah, I'm not really arguing with it. But as medical science has progressed, we're all living longer, and more importantly, we're living healthier, right? And as our expectations of what our life is going to be like is up, right? And so we're living longer, all the rest. But what we didn't do that our parents did was have a ton of kids
to take care of us.
Right. There are 8 kids in my family. Okay. None of it. I had 4. That was as far as it got. Right. So the demand for services, the demand for care, is going way up. There's this thing called the baby boom. You may have heard of it. Right. So it's going up. We have high expectations, but we didn't have as many kids. So
supply and demand.
Supply and demand. Demand for services up. Supply of caregivers down. Plus the church lady who used to hang out and help out, she's not around anymore.
And the cost for a registered nurse is
$100 an hour. You want a registered nurse to come in. And of course you can always get the teenager, with the purple hair. She'll show up, or he'll show up, for $30 an hour. What are we supposed to do?
We're supposed to get more direct care workers into our homes. That's
There
what we're
you
supposed
go.
to do. All right, thank you, David. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Paula.
We hear a lot about direct care workers. Let's learn a little bit about how to enter that profession and what career paths are available once you do enter it. And to talk about that today, we have with us Bethany. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now tell us about what you do. You actually train direct care workers.
I do. My name's Bethany Dizer. I'm the Assistant Director of the Impart Alliance. I'm a nurse and a nurse practitioner by trade. And the thing that I get to do the most at work is train direct care workers to provide excellent care, to learn about the people that they serve, and to build a career in this really exciting and interesting field.
So when you talk about building a career, what are some of the steps? You enter as a direct care worker and you're trained, you need to be trained in that area as well, but then there are other career ladders.
Absolutely. We like to think about a career lattice and a career ladder. Coming into the direct care field, anyone with the enthusiasm, the interest, and the go get them to get into this field is welcome. We want to help people train to learn the skills that they need to be able to provide excellent care, as well as the knowledge that they need to understand the people that they work with and the complex healthcare system they work within. And then within that field, we love to see people advance to be leaders among their colleagues in direct care work, as well as a lot of people go on to be in other fields in healthcare after working as direct care workers.
And is there an age limit on that? Is that for anybody?
I like to think it's for anybody and it's for everybody. We train people over the age of 16 or 17 who want to get into the field and start their careers, and no age limit for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for what you do, and thanks for being with us today, Bethany.
Thanks for having me.
CATA's regional mobility solutions can help seniors seize the day. Hear what our riders and community leaders have to say about the value CATA brings to the lives of aging adults.
I think CATA is necessary for the community because, there's a lot of people that don't have transportation. Plus, it's good for the environment. I think CATA's doing a good job.
Oh, it's very important for somebody like me. I don't have a vehicle at the moment, and the transportation is a reliable source as far as helping me get to and from places where I need to go. It's very important.
Almost 70 years old, it's hard to walk, so I like taking the bus because walking is bad for me.
I've been riding it ever since I've been here, since 1994.
Being here at the CATA, being able to use the buses, get you somewhere everywhere. They actually was nice enough to give me a bus pass that day, a 31-day bus pass, so I was blessed.
I'm with a polite time with the drivers and whatnot, and they're very helpful. And the girls out in the booth, if you have somewhere to go or you don't know where you're going, look it up for you and give you directions and where to get off at, which I think is really nice.
If we didn't have CATA, so we'd be using Uber or Lyft from place to place, which can be quite costly.
I depend on CATA. I have to. If we didn't have CATA, I don't know what we would do. This town needs CATA.
Yeah, it would be very, very frustrating without CATA because, if we didn't have CATA, the people that needs CATA, they would be in really bad shape because how can we get around without CATA?
It's very important that I ride with them. Because of CATA, I can do that. I'm independent.
As appreciative as I am of AARP and all the wonderful work that we do, I'm even more appreciative of you watching AARP Real Possibilities.